Hey guys, it's Kristen, and I would love to talk to you about how to open an Etsy shop in 2021. And we are going to zoom through the basics of how to do just that. So, before you even begin your Etsy shop, you need to know exactly what it is you're selling. You need to come up with a unique shop name that's pretty short in characters, but really makes a point. And it does need to describe your items very well. The next thing you need to do is understand your target market. Your target market is the people that are most likely to buy your product, and you need to understand your product. And that might sound really self-explanatory until you do research. For instance, I sell deco mesh which is this roll of mesh that when you bend it, it stays in place for wreaths, mostly used to make mesh wreaths. However, when I went on YouTube, I found out that they are made for garlands, for centerpieces with candles in the middle, for Christmas trees, and ribbons for floral arrangements, and much more. These are the type of items that you will be needing for your titles and your tags when you make a listing in Etsy. So before you do anything, really research what product you are selling and how it is sold, and what type of people would be your target market and would be the most likely type of people to buy from you. After you've done that, you're going to brand your store. You've come up with a name, you know what you're selling, then you're going to brand it. You want to come up with an amazing logo and banner. Your logo should stand out and be professionally done. Please do not do your own logo and chop it up and make it look like a kindergartner did it. And also be very careful on the other end with those who call themselves graphic designers and their work really doesn't have it to show for you. Sometimes people say they're graphic designers, but in fact they are not. So make sure you look at their work. Your banner should very much stand out and be beautifully done. I don't suggest usually to put your product in the banner unless necessary because it's so unique. If you can do it in a way that is very creative and beautiful, that is one thing. But usually I suggest not to do that. But instead add something that is complementary to your product. For instance, I sell wreaths and I have added flowers in there because I use them in my wreaths. And your logo should match your banner. It should not stand out totally different from your banner and not match. Your logo should be simple with your store name and some sort of simple design with it. And your banner should also have your store name. Etsy also allows you to have things like carousels, which allows movement of photos, which I highly suggest as well. You might do, for instance, a Mother's Day ad and a turn to a normal banner, and then a next turn to a Father's Day ad, and the next turn to a bridal ad. All different ways you could do it. You could use something like canva.com to create those beautiful ads for Etsy that are going across the top and add elements into it. You cannot use Canva itself to make a logo or a banner in itself, but if you want to add elements from somewhere else and bring it into Canva, you can do that. Or you can go to other different platforms to make your banner and logo. You just can't use Canva itself and the templates they've created to take those and use your logo and banner. And after that comes photography. There is nothing more important than this first part, photography. It has to be excellent, and I do mean excellent. When your photos are showing, you are up against a ton of competition around you when people are looking. So the first thing that they want to see is your picture. It has to highly stand out. People are extremely visual, and within seconds they are looking for what they want. Their eyes immediately go to it. So I usually suggest a very bright white background. Not a dirty white, but a bright white. If you have white on white, you might want to do dark. Props are fine as long as they're used in the right way. If they take away from the center of the product or the center view of it, it's not a good idea. If you can shadow them in the background, and I don't mean shadow, but lighten them, or you can use them in complementary ways, that's fine. But think about how your picture looks against a bunch of competition. Does it stand out? Does it blend away? Is there too much distraction? These are all things you need to think of. There's tons of photography tips on Google and all around. I have even written a 2021 PDF ebook that you can buy fairly cheap on how to do all of these things. If you're using a backdrop, make sure there's not a lot of wrinkle to it. Another suggestion I have, for instance, I sell wreaths, is to use the sunlight as it's coming up or going down and not direct sunlight. That beautiful dawn sunlight creates this beautiful sun that is beautiful for things that are outside. If you're inside, you could simply open the windows and let the sun in. But be careful with shadowing because that can be an issue. If you have small products, you can buy things on Amazon, such as a shadow box or a light box that can zoom in on your things and has little lights in it. And just like I said, look online. There's a ton of photography tips. You can edit your photos in your iPhone using the magic wand, the brightness, the color, and the saturation. You can also do this in Instagram and also on your Android phone. Just don't change the product so much as to actually change the photo so that a customer says it is not actually what they are buying. The next process is what I hear the most as a coach, and it's called SEO. SEO stands for search engine optimization and basically is a fancy word for how your product is seen both to the algorithm of Etsy and how it is seen to others. We write our titles in writable form and sentence form that customers can read and understand. However, your titles are made of a bunch of keywords and you have to actually research those. You want low competition keywords, and in order to know the competition level or the volume that they are searched for per month, you need a tool. I highly recommend Sales Samurai. It's a brand new tool that came out in February 2021. It is so affordable. It is less than $9.99 a month, and I even have a discount for you in the description below, which gives you 20% off for the lifetime of its use. You can cancel anytime, and they give you a 3 free day trial. In this YouTube channel, you will find a tutorial on how to do Sales Samurai. But in general, you need an Etsy tool. It's pretty impossible for you to guess what those numbers are, and you also need to understand the algorithm. In the PDF I've listed below, I describe how the algorithm works and how it scores your store. It is extremely important for you to understand the algorithm and how it scores your store to understand how to find keywords. You will be tempted when you see your top competitors in Sales Samurai, as they will show you your top competition and exactly what they're using for certain words to steal their words. However, they may be more applicable to show those words because they've been selling great and for a long time. For instance, gift for her is something that everybody uses. But if you're a new seller or you haven't sold well on smaller products, the algorithm is not going to shoot you up there for those large words. So they're not worth using until you are down the road a bit. So you need to understand how the algorithm works, how to find your keywords, how to manipulate them to get the competition down. And you can do all of that in Sales Samurai. And I have tutorials on all of this. So check out the YouTube video on how to do that. I will put my link down here for Sales Samurai and my PDF. Making sure your titles and tags are done properly are extremely important. There is actually a strategy as well on how to do that. Simply typing them in is not the right answer, and choppy keywords is not the right answer. You need long tail keywords in your title, and there's a strategic way that you bring them down into your tags. You definitely need all 13 tags, and there's a way to do your tags. This is why coaching is so important. Even though I'm a coach, I started with a coach, and I trained with people that are doing so amazingly well now. I'm very confident in what I'm telling you. But a lot of people do get so caught up in SEO, and they need coaching to help them through it. Or they need those visual aids and those lives that I do online weekly to see how it goes together. Typing it is pretty hard, but when you can see it, it helps you a lot. The next part is attributions, which are all the questions Etsy asks you about your product, such as, is it a circle? Is it artificial? What can it be used for? Make sure to fill that all out because they are looked at as tags. And the algorithm switches your words around to make different keyword phrases. So you want as much variety as possible. When you're making your titles and tags, you don't want to repeat a word as much as you can, although sometimes it's inevitable. There's a lot of other strategies to this, but I don't have time to go into it in this thing. So I recommend that you buy the PDF, maybe buy some coaching, or watch the tutorial to get some better ideas on how the strategy works. The attributions are very important, and materials are also seen as tags. Some people ask me, do I advertise? Should I advertise? It's really up to your budget. And for some people, advertising works amazing, and some people, it doesn't work amazing. For me, it actually works great. And at different times of the year, it works better than others. But for some people, it doesn't work great. And it's not necessary unless you want to. But it does go off the SEO or the titles that you are using for your products. So with that all being said, the main things you need to think about is target audience, branding, how to make beautiful banner, logo, photography so that everything is cohesive. By the way, I don't recommend putting multiple things in your store, as it looks difficult for the buyer when they see multiple things. It actually sends a message that you're not excellent at one thing. A couple things that are in the same category is fine, but when you have a whole variation of things, it's too messy. It's better to make different stores. But you do need excellent photography and to add as many as you possibly can. Right now, it is extremely important to add video at this current time. It is 20 seconds with no sound, but Etsy is saying they are pushing you forward if you have a video. Make sure your SEO is correct by using a tool, Google Keyword Tool. As the Etsy bar comes down, it's showing you recent searches and other tools that are available to you to find the right keywords. But the best thing to do is to have a tool and also to look at your stats. Your stats online can be found by going to your dashboard. On the left, it says stats, and then you go up to the top and click 30 days for your time frame. Go scroll down to Etsy search, and then all the way down to words. It'll be 1 or 2 words that people are finding you for. You want to make sure to include those in your titles and tags, despite what anything says on the tool search keyword tools, because that are the words that people are really looking for, and those are the things that you need to add somewhere in your titles and your tags. Advertising is optional. You need to make sure the About Me section is filled out at the top. They've made that also clear, and that you can have a boost for that. So update your About Me section if you've been a seller for a while, and if you're new, make sure you fill that out. Add photos of your workspace or photos of you. They really like that. And definitely have your policies filled out. If you don't have your policies filled out, I don't think Etsy's even going to show you. And that is what Etsy's going to fall on if there's a customer issue. And remember, always have excellent customer service. Answer your clients quickly. Always say thank you and be extremely professional, even if they're extremely mad. Always be professional. My recommendation is say thank you to them right about the time you are sending a shipping, and say thank you so much for buying this. Your tracking information is in your email, and I can't wait to get to you and to hear back from you. And then I do a second interaction after it's been delivered, in which I ask them how they feel about the product. It's important to go after reviews, because in Etsy, when you sell, it sends a very strong signal to the algorithm that this is doing well. But when you get a 5-star review, it really sends a signal. And most of the time, people are not going to go out of their way to do a review. So it's important that you ask for one, and make sure to emphasize that it will help your store greatly, because they don't understand why you need it. Another thing to do is add the link to your review so it's easy for them to click and not get lost. A lot of them are guests and they don't know what to do. So if you go to your own store and you go to My Purchases and Reviews, and you copy the top where you have the www dot, and you copy it all the way across when you're under your review section, and you give it to them, it will actually open their review section to review your product. You cannot ask for a 5-star review, but you can say, I would really appreciate it. Just be concise, thankful, and expect the worst. It can take weeks for them to get back. They may never get back. And if they do, wonderful. Then you're getting a really big boost in Etsy at that time. A couple other suggestions. If something is selling well, leave it alone. Don't bother it, don't touch it, don't do anything, let it keep selling. However, if something is really not selling well for quite a long while, you might consider tweaking it, doing a copy of it, and erasing the history of it and republishing it for 20 cents. What else can I give you for tips and tricks in this wonderful YouTube video? Etsy creators are wonderful people. They have such wonderful talent, and I hate seeing people get discouraged because of the technical side of Etsy and want to give up. Please do not give up on your talent and feel that it can't be sold well. Do your research and make sure that you know all the ins and outs of selling the product that you are selling well. Make sure you find the target groups that might buy your products, such as Facebook groups, that you can show your product to. And make sure that you get something like coaching. If you're stuck and you're struggling and you've tried to figure it out and you've been through so many groups and they give you all these weird answers, I promise you a lot of them are wrong. Definitely find a coach. I do one-on-one coaching, and I do it through Zoom and screen share, so I can share everything with you and you can see me do it. I do everything from 30 minutes to 2 hours to 2.5 hours or more, and 2 to 2.5 is optimal for me. I can really get in there, do your SEO for you, show you what you're doing right and wrong, and you will have a good idea, a very strong idea after that session of what you need to do. If you buy my PDF that's listed here and I look at your store and find that you're a good applicant, I do have a free VIP coaching group. I do free tutorials, free updates, free everything on a regular basis for them so that they get, well nourished for things that are in the future. It will be free for the lifetime of the members. So these are all things to think of. And if you have any questions or comments for me, leave them below. I wish you well on your Etsy journey, and maybe you and I get to meet someday, and I would love that very much. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe, as I will continue to add e-commerce tutorials and Etsy tutorials